G'day, this is Joel from Airbourne, and may the rock always be with you.
All right, let's kick it off, mate. Welcome back to May the Rock Be With You. It has been about 9 years since we sat down in Surrey Hills and ate Tim Tams and Lamingtons together. So it's been a
Bloody
little while
hell.
ago. Let's catch
Been a
up.
little while.
Well, how have the last
Oh
9 years
yeah.
been for you?
It's been good, mate. It's been busy. It's been a lot going on. There's obviously, every band was off the road there for a minute in those 9 years. But we just wrote and wrote, just got to work writing songs for this record and we've been touring and recording and touring, recording. So it's kind of a bit of a blur, but it's a good blur. And we've noticed that there's a lot more people that want to rock in the world today than there was it seems like 9 years ago. Yes, it's just something's changed out there. There's a lot of people coming out wanting to rock. It's really good.
Yeah, we love that. That's what we like and it's what we do. And then we're here, of course, because you're headed back to see us after a long time, actually, supporting the mighty Guns N' Roses. So, how
We
would you
are.
best explain an Airborne live show in 2026?
Mate, it's the same as it's always been. We just go as hard as we can. It's four pit bulls attacking the stage, playing good time rock and roll, and we just it's the one thing that we do, and it's just all we want to do. So we know that you've bought your ticket for Guns N' Roses, and we know we're just the appetizer. But if we can drag you out of the bar while you're getting your beers, if we can get you down there, I promise you this, that we will do our bloody best to make you rock. And that's what we'll do.
Excellent, mate. Now, it's been a while since you've been home. What's the feeling like when you're finally coming back and playing on home soil again?
Uh, Oh, well, we haven't done it in a while, but there's just something, there's a bit of extra something about it. It almost in your mind, it goes back to where you started when your band had started touring in Australia. And it's kind of weird going out on a big stage because we're only ever used to playing little places here because we just went overseas and kind of just didn't really come back. But I don't know, there's something gutsy about playing Australia. It's where Aussie rock comes from. Um, so it's if you got the privilege and the honour to play Aussie rock, then if you're going to play it in Australia, then you better make sure you don't fuck it up, basically. No, I love playing in Australia. It's great.
Yeah, we can't wait to see you, mate. Now, with your live show, obviously we're there to see you, and you know what a show it is. I've seen it a number of times. But from your perspective, what's your favorite thing to see from the stage looking out?
Uh, I just like seeing people rocking. If they're standing still, it fucking makes me feel really weird. Like feels like I've got to, I don't know, electrocute myself to get them to do something. But something, I don't know. Like if they're not moving, we turn around and we all look at each other and go, fuck, we're gonna have to go harder here. They're not moving. We're gonna have to do something. And then try and drag it out of them. Angry Anderson said that once. He said sometimes you just got to. It's like pulling teeth. You literally got to pull it out of them. But I just honestly, I love seeing people have fun and rocking out. It's the greatest thing. If they're getting up on shoulders when they're crowd surfing and circle pits and all the stuff they get up to, that's that's what we love seeing that. And just makes you put a big smile on your face. And sometimes, when you get a chance, you can eyeball one person, and I love doing that. Just finding one and just rocking a whole verse with them. And then, they just fucking get you going and you get them going. A little bit of an energy exchange. Just that one person sometimes can shift a whole gig.
Perfect. That's awesome, man. Now, you've also got a new album coming in August. It's a self-titled one. So, a couple of things. Why was now the time to simply name it Airborne? And what can you tell us about the album, if you're allowed to get us pumped up for its release?
Well, mate, it's this is the band, like we just were in the studio for 5 years, or not the studio, but writing the thing for 5 years, and it just the band really feels right like this where we are now, and we haven't done a self-titled one before. We kind of took long enough to kind of almost disappear. So I felt like, there's many reasons, but we were going to call it the Gutsy, like it was going to be called Gutsy after the first song that came out. But we just started calling it, this is the Gutsy album, like Metallica would call, the Black Album. So we just started calling it that. And we were kind of like, well, we can't call it the Gutsy album. It's just what we're calling it. And we're like, well, we could. You can name whatever album you want to name it. But we just ended up finding that there was too many other songs on there where we're like, look, we can't really like Alive After Death, last playing out is such a strong sentiment and a strong song that it just it just didn't feel right to name it one song when you've got all these other songs on there. We probably could have called it that, and but people would think that Airbourne's just like had been dead and then just been resurrected because they've been gone for so long making this bloody record. We were on the road the entire time for most of it, but it just felt like, this is the time where we call it, this is Airbourne, this is what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Hey, what was it like recording it on that Neve desk, the Albert's Neve desk, that classic Australian sound? Did it give you that extra push to make sure it lived up to the legend of it?
Yeah, it made you think, the kind of guys that were sitting around that desk hours into the night, all day long, making some of Australia's greatest music, the greatest Aussie pub rock that's ever been made, the greatest has ever been made through that desk. From the Angels days to DC to Rose Tattoo, I don't know if Billy Thorpe was on it. He probably was. Thorpe, could have been on that thing. The Easy Beats may have been. I mean, it was Albert's desk, George Young, Harry Vander, and George Young. So it it just sits there, this massive reminder with all this energy sort of stuck in it. Doc Neeson's been leaning on that board. Bon Scott has been there. It's so many that have come. There's so many that we owe what we do to them. The reason why we're here is because of them, and we're sitting there with this massive console, and that thing has existed. It's amazing to be able to record through something like that. I
Mm.
mean, if you're not a gear nerd, even if you're not a gear nerd, you go, wait a minute, that's the thing that all of them recorded through. It's a pretty special bloody thing, and it's only one desk, only one. It's not like a car where you can get a whole different bunch of models. It's just that one.
Yep.
And even though it was, a great desk to record through, it's got a lot of issues with it. We had to fix it here and there. It was breaking down. It was a temperamental thing, but it was worth it. It made it more interesting. So she's definitely an old character, that's for sure.
Nice, a bit of gaffer tape on there, here and there, and we'll stick it together.
Yeah, yeah.
I
All,
love it.
all of that sort of stuff.
But now, in the time between albums, has there been any change in your approach to the way you write songs compared to even the last album?
Uh, no, not a major change. You just try and, if you've got a guitar riff first or a lyric thing first, they sort of don't really, it's just always meandering a bit here, but they kind of just sort of come together in a way. When it feels right, it feels right. Then you demo it up and you sort of turn it into a song, and then you might listen to the demo later and go, "Oh, that's a bit shit." But it's always a discovery process, and the number one rule is get out of your own way. If you're overthinking anything, if you're just trying to write it too soon, or you're trying to, make forming a verse before you've even got the whole thing happening, you can't. It just always ends up shit. So
Mm.
I'm always kind of learning still get out of my own way. Just get out of my way. And I just start putting it down.
Yeah,
But it
cool.
usually starts with guitar or lyrics first. But yeah.
All right. Well, in terms of changes, though, tell us about working with some people, namely someone called, I think his name's Bryan Adams. Is that his?
Right.
But
If
how did
right.
that come about, man? Like, how do partnerships like this actually happen?
Well, so Dante at our record label has known Brian for quite a while, and just got in contact with him, and Brian just returned with so much enthusiasm, and he's a rocker. Like, he really is a rocker. I mean, obviously he's famous for, all the songs that he's written that might not be considered hard rock songs as much as, what our band does. But he does have songs like, The Kids Want to Rock, and there's another song called Are You Ready? And the live versions of those are quite rocking. And getting to know him was like, it was one thing was really, really obvious, and more obvious is that he has a real rock and roller inside him. And I think this is one way to maybe get it out, maybe in terms of this way, but he puts it in his own music as well. And he just has this unlimited enthusiasm. He doesn't seem like he ever sleeps. So if we had an idea and we sent it to him, he would get straight back to us, with what his thoughts were, and what was going on there and stuff like that. And he's very intelligent. He's a master of his craft. He really is. And yeah, he was really good at cracking the whip on us, as well as also, as working on the songs. He was very good at keeping us on the track, because we get a little bit, like I said, meandering before. We do get a bit lost in what we're doing, but he was just reminding constantly reminding us, just, is that the best line it could be? Is that the best? Can you make it better? Can you do, can you level it up? Can you, always question it? And when it feels right, it's right. And just a lot of little things like that too along the way. But
Yeah.
no, he's great,
He's brilliant. I'll never miss him live. He's one of the best performers I've seen. He's just unbelievable.
isn't he?
Oh,
He's in a genre of his own. That's the
what?
thing. Like he's created his own genre, the Bryan Adams genre.
Hmm.
It's just it's one and only him, and it's great. He knows so much about this stuff.
Yeah. Did I read as well? Did you work with Phil Collin from Def Leppard? Was that on this album?
No, Mutt
Oh,
Lang, the
Mark.
producer of Def Leppard,
Yeah, yeah,
was involved in this as well. And well, he is a very magic.
yeah.
He's a magician. He
Yeah.
really is. It's very hard to, even when you look at it, what the demo was, to when him and Bryan Adams got involved with it. You can see the changes, you can hear them, but as to the reasons why they were made, you have to sort of figure that out on your own. But he's a magician. He's like
Oh,
Christopher Nolan in directing. Like they have this thing that they do where it's just magic, just
yep.
pure magic, and it's just that kind of stuff doesn't come along every day for a
No,
little old Aussie band. So it was a lot of learning for us too.
that's great. You can take it to the next one and continue on with that learning that you've learned on this
Yeah,
one. Yeah. Now,
yeah,
I always like
definitely.
to ask about a song on the album. I got it today. I've listened to it through 4 times. Love it. The one that I want to ask you about is a song called Here She Comes, because it's a real different feel for the band. What can you tell us about that song?
Here she comes. So we're in the jungle, and there's the tape machine. What had happened? The tape machine was always blowing up, but the power had gone out, and they had it was like a hurricane sort of thing that had blown in through Byron Bay, and the trees were going like they were like this. They ended up bending over. We actually got footage of a tree falling down and almost hitting the bass player because he was staying in a bus that was converted into a room, like converted into a miniature house, and he was in there and it almost went through the roof. And so anyway, so here she comes, it's just the rain is gushing out of the sky. And we're working on this song with Brian Howes, the producer. And this was one of the ones that we'd worked on with Bryan Adams and Mutt as well. And it just had this thing where we were just surrounded by all this torrential rain and all this, just it was unstoppable. And it was, I don't know where the title came from, but it was just ended up coming out that way. Here she comes. So it's a double entendre, obviously. But we were where Mother Nature was literally, she was coming all over the bloody studio. So we're
Wow.
almost drowned out of there a couple of times. Like just rivers and rivers of rain. It's something to see up there in that part of the world, in the jungle, and everything just gets washed away, comes to life, and there's snakes everywhere, and it's pretty wild. It was really good to do that too, to get back to a part of Australia you don't get to see too much, living down in Melbourne or somewhere.
Yeah. Far out, man. You can hear the Bryan Adams on that song. I heard it and went like, there it is. It's got that little thing to
Yeah,
it. Like, it's a ripper.
yeah,
And I
there's
love the
definitely.
Christmas song in the middle of the album too, because why not?
Yeah, well, look, we wanted to have a Christmas song. We haven't done a Christmas song before, and we're not really the kind of band that kind of sort of does the carols, Christmas carols. So we thought we'll just come up with our own Christmas song and see if it sticks, see if it can make the record, and it eventually it just made the cut in the end. So yeah.
Very cool. Now, over time, it's easy to say what can change. We've talked about a lot of change, but what's the one thing that's always remained the same about Airbourne?
The one thing that's always remained the same is that we just always just want to rock. We just want to rock, and we love being, I guess, still are students of Australian pub rock and roll, Australian Aussie pub rock, and it's just something that we. The one thing that's never changed is our love for that and our love to play that, and we just still pinch ourselves that we get to go out and do that, and that there are people in the planet that actually want to come out and hear us do it. Because I grew up as a kid, watching the Angels and AC/DC and Roast That Earl, a lot of it on TV. I didn't get to see them much perform. A few of them I did eventually, but seeing them back in the '70s and stuff like that, and then through the '80s and things, it's this thing that Australians do, this kind of music that we make, other than, invention. It's an Aussie invention, like, Vegemite or the two-stroke lawnmower or the Hills Hoist, clothesline. Aussie pub rock is something we make out here. and it's gotten lost. It gets lost every now and then, I think, in terms of different kind of music that comes out of Australia. I'm not saying it's bad, that kind of music or anything, but that sounds like other people's music, whereas Australian pub rock sounds like Aussie pub rock. So it's something that we love, you know, waving that, flag. It's saying just, we love Aussie music, we love Aussie pub rock, and we wouldn't be here without Billy Thorpe and the Aztecs. And so we'll fucking do our best, if as much as we can, to stay true to it. And that's just what all we want to do.
Yeah, perfect. I spoke to John Brewster a couple of weeks ago, and they're celebrating their 50th anniversary. And I'm like, man, that's
Wow.
just legendary. You know what I mean? Like they're still out there
Wow.
doing it.
Yeah,
Unbelievable. Yeah.
unbelievable. Some of the greatest riffs ever in the history of Aussie rock. And the Angels, Brewster Brothers, the first band to do the palm mute, I think. I don't know, maybe before like they were doing that before heavy metal. Heavy metal bands were doing the palm mute like that. Like, I
Mhm.
mean, Black Sabbath probably did it that way. Maybe a couple of moments here, maybe around the same time or just before them. But no one had ever done, I don't think, the Angels style of palm mute, which is that much more cleaner. You can hear it in Dogs Are Talking,
Oh, yeah.
or Take a Long Line is another great one.
Yep.
Uh, yeah.
What a brilliant band. Now, lastly, as always, what we do is we look ahead to the future with a prediction. So I want you to finish this sentence for me. By the end of 2026, Airbourne will.
Be flying. The Airborne will be, in 2026, Airborne will be off the ground. We've been waiting forever to get this plane off the ground, but we will have finally got Airborne will have the all of its wheels of its aircraft, of its massive aeroplane, finally off the ground. It's taken this long, so we will be off the planet
And actually airborne.
and actually airborne for the first time. We'll be taking our first flight.
Brilliant, mate. Pleasure to catch up. It's been too long. We shouldn't keep it this long. It's ridiculous. We'll make it quicker next time.
We'll make it quicker next time, mate. I promise.
Excellent. Well, I'll see you in Sydney at Gunners, mate. Hopefully we can catch up. And if not, we'll see you soon.
Yeah, bloody oath, mate. Hopefully see you in Sydney and keep on rocking and keep on keeping the rock with everyone.
Mate, I've been doing it for 17 plus years. I ain't stopping doing this in a hurry.
Oh, good on you. That's the way. Good on you, Troy. Good to
Thanks, mate.
talk to you. We'll talk
Talk
to
to you
you
soon,
soon.
Joel. See ya.
Take care, mate. See ya.
Bye.
Bye bye.